Aloha, friends and family. Welcome back to the reading of The Subconscious Speaks by Erna, Ferrell, Grabe. Picking it up in Chapter 5, Health. In order to understand what sickness is, it is necessary to understand what health is. Health is the natural condition of mankind. Disease is simply a distortion of the natural condition of man. Disease is a negative condition. Health is a positive condition. That you can understand as nature constantly strives to establish health in any disease. The first state of mankind is one of perfection. Man is an expression of divine mind, and divine mind creates only perfect things. It follows that only perfection should be manifested. Health is the idea of man, which is at all times held in divine mind. The divine idea of man is a perfect idea. Disease is only the idea or faulty idea which mankind itself has caused to be manifested in the life of man. Man alone is responsible for imperfect conditions in his life. Perhaps that statement is supreme over the subconscious mind. For this reason, the conscious mind is able to change any idea that the subconscious mind holds. This can be done by commanding the subconscious to substitute another idea in the place of any particular idea which the subconscious may be holding. It is not difficult to impress the idea of health upon the individual's subconscious mind if the conscious mind is conceived and convinced that it can be done. An absolute conviction is essential. Unless this conviction is present, the subconscious is so sensitive to thought that it realizes any doubt. Disease is negative. Negative thoughts are responsible for disease. Positive force or energy overcomes negative energy. Substitute the word thought for the word energy, and you have the reason why it is possible to overcome illness of whatsoever nature. Make a conscious demand that the subconscious substitute the idea of health for the idea of disease. This may be done by a denial of disease in general or in particular. Once the idea of disease is eliminated, it is easy to replace it with the idea of health. Sometimes it helps to make a statement in regards to a particular defect or weakness. Denials serve to eradicate ideas. Affirmative statements serve to establish definite ideas in the subconscious mind. One certain way to impress the subconscious is to make a mental picture. If an organ is weak and fails to function as it should, the individual should visualize himself as doing the things he would be doing if he were in perfect health. If the realization back of any statement is one of deep conviction, it will in time cause the subconscious mind to build or rebuild the body in accordance with the idea back of it. A man may say, God is the source of all there is. The life of God is all the life there is. I am one with the life of God. God is too perfect to create imperfection, and as a manifestation of divine mind, I am in reality perfect. That perfection is now being substituted for imperfection. Health is now replacing sickness. The only image which has ever been in divine mind is a perfect image. And I now command the power within me to form my body in perfect duplication of the perfect image held in divine mind. Divine mind is of a positive nature. It has within itself negative and positive energy. It uses these two opposites for the purpose of achieving contrasts. but not in the manner in which man understands. Negative energy is one of the means by which divine mind regulates power. If there were no means by which energy could be regulated, there would be no degrees of power. Divine mind uses negative energy constructively, not destructively. Not even the universal mind has the power to regulate energy. It understands the method of using it after it is regulated. But only the mind of God Himself has the supreme intelligence and power to regulate energy. The negative portion of energy and the positive portion of energy are known to man in the use he makes of electricity. In times past, electricity was unknown. Now that man understands electrical energy, it should assist him to understand that there are degrees of energy of which mankind is ignorant. One of these degrees of energy is the energy of thought. Thought is a mental force. It is the highest type of energy. Thought force is as definite a force as is the physical force with which man is familiar. It is of so much greater energy that there is no comparison. Physical force is, in reality, the weakest form of energy known. It is the force of matter, and matter is the dust of energy. That term dust is a comparative word. It is used to convey the lightest substance with which you are familiar. Thought is initial energy. Thoughts are direct products of mind, and back of the mind of man is the mind of God. The conscious mind of man is a portion of one of the degrees of the conscious mind of God. It is this conscious mind that enables man to have the power of self-expression. For this reason, man was allowed to use negative and positive energy. The proper use requires that a definite balance be established. When there is not enough positive energy, there is a lack of energy. Divine mind arranged things in a perfect balance. Either through a lack of understanding or a misconception of things, man has disturbed the perfect balance. Confusion and adverse conditions are the result. It remains for man to reestablish this perfect balance, and the easiest manner by which this can be done is to establish contact with divine mind. A man can by prayer establish such a perfect contact with divine mind that automatically the perfect equilibrium or balance of negative and positive energy is established for him. That is why the prayer of faith is effective without any conception of the why. God is ever ready to respond to the appeal of mankind, whether it is a supplication of faith or whether it is the result of mankind's realization that God is all, that God has established perfection, and that all man has to do is to accept the perfect conditions which God has already provided. The process is so simple that it is surprising that mankind has been so long in realizing how it can be done. God has established perfection in the universe, and this perfection is inherent within mankind. The individual should establish the truth of the following words in his subconscious mind. I am the expression of the perfect mind of God. This perfection is inherent within me. I now call into manifestation perfect harmony, perfect adjustment in mind and body. My body is but the expression of mind. My mind is one with the perfect mind of God. I am, in reality, perfect, regardless of appearances. I have been given the power to decree for myself perfect adjustment, and I now decree for myself harmonious adjustment both in mind and body. I am now contacting the perfect order and harmony of divine mind. This harmony causes every adverse condition to disappear. I call upon divine mind to aid the power within me to hold in mental concentration the perfect image of me that is held at all times in divine mind. Illness of any kind is weakness. If enough energy is called into expression, the disease must disappear of itself. Disease is, in reality, a lack of energy. Disease is a negative condition. It disappears if the individual can call into expression sufficient energy, which overcomes lack of any kind. That is why rest is so often beneficial. It gives the energy time to flow in. If an individual only realized it, he could cause energy to flow in at will, or even to flow in such a continuous stream that there would never be a lack. Man should say, the eternal energy of divine mind is ever flowing into my mind and body, and I am strengthened each moment. This source, energy, is the source of my strength and health. Its healing power is now establishing perfect harmony, and that harmony is now manifesting itself as perfect health. Chapter 6, Confidence in Self, Faith in God. Confidence is that condition of man which is the result of a realization that nothing can prevent success in an undertaking. It is this feeling more than any other that is a contributing factor in the successful accomplishment of any idea. I say idea, for an idea is necessary before anything can be even so much as attempted. Certain positive mental attitudes combine to constitute confidence. They are assurance, a conviction of success, a determination that nothing shall prevent or interfere with achievement, and a certainty within the mind of the individual that he has innate power that can be called upon to overcome outside interference. The things which I have just enumerated are the attributes any normal man possesses. They are the natural endowments of an ordinary individual's conscious mind. The conscious mind has the power to establish vibrations in the subconscious mind which embody the idea that the conscious mind holds. When an individual is of a definite positive nature, he is able to establish vibrations in his subconscious mind which are so sufficient strength to reach far out into the universal and contact similar vibrations in the universal. The universal law of attraction is that like attracts like. Vibrations of one degree attract vibrations of a similar degree. It is because this law is an invariable and unchangeable law that man is able to attract to himself the things which he desires. The saying, with which you are familiar, that we are beget with spiritual laws which execute themselves, is a true statement. It means simply this: there are laws in the universe that are so powerful and so perfectly adjusted to each other that all a man has to do is to start one of these laws operating, and then the other laws are compelled by their own nature to fall in line with the requirements that are necessary to cause the perfect execution of the first law that began to operate. An individual's vibrations, once established, is a sufficiently positive manner, should maintain a conscious flow from his subconscious to the universal if they are to be effective in attracting to the individual the things he desires. Certain individuals are of an extremely positive nature. Others are inclined to be of a negative nature, which, as I have explained elsewhere, is due to a lack of energy or force. If an individual of an extremely positive nature establishes vibrations in his subconscious mind, the subconscious is able to maintain those vibrations owing to the fact that the conscious mind of the individual does not waver. The initial force, remember, is in the conscious mind. If an individual who is of a slightly negative mentality sends his vibrations through his subconscious mind into the universal, it often happens that there is a cross current of vibrations coming from a more positive individual. This cross current may not be of the same intensity or degree, and if not, it will have no effect upon the slightly negative vibrations. But if the positive vibrations are of a similar degree, the vibrations of the negative quality will be deflected and oftentimes will be completely diverted in their flow into the universal. That is why at times a man's work is rendered null. The two individuals may not even know each other, but if they are working to attain the same thing, then it is disastrous to the man who is sending out the less positive or slightly negative vibrations. That is why it is necessary for an individual to adopt an absolutely positive attitude in regard to the things which he wishes to happen, attain, or acquire. It is possible for a man to change from a negative to a positive nature. It is only by making this change that he is able to establish vibrations in his subconscious mind that will enable him to call forth from the universal the things which are necessary for his happiness. In this topic, I have dealt with the conscious mind of the individual and its relation to his subconscious mind. The vibrations of the individual's subconscious were explained, and the conflict between these vibrations and the vibrations of the subconscious minds of more powerful individuals. I have tried to show that in the world of human affairs, mankind is to a certain extent at the mercy of other individuals who possess a decidedly more positive nature. I have tried to explain why some people succeed and why others fail. I have shown that positive vibrations have the power to overcome, divert, and intercept vibrations of a less positive degree when the vibrations are of a similar intensity or the same degree. There is a certain way, however, by which an individual may protect himself from all human interference. This I shall now discuss in the following topic. Faith in God. Faith in God is the realization that there is in the universe of a supreme power, even present, all-wise, all-powerful, all-loving, all-protecting, all-providing, and that this power is ever at the disposal of mankind if he calls upon it. Man looks upon Source as some vague, incomprehensible being or principle, or some intangible something in some distant realm. Divinity does reside in distant realms, but he is the very essence of man. He is in man's mind, soul, and body. Man should strive to learn the fundamentals of this new manner of regarding his relation to God. Man will have to realize his oneness with the source of being. God has decreed that man shall be able to control his life without divine interference. Divine mind does not resist man's desire, even though that desire is an unworthy one. But that does not mean that God has set mankind adrift. The greatest contributing factor to success which a man possesses is an understanding that there is a power higher than human power, which is ever at his disposal. It is the feeling which may be described in the words, "Underneath are the everlasting arms." That is one manner of referring to divinity, and it imparts a feeling of security to the individual who has so far progressed in spiritual understanding that he realizes the truth of the words. Faith in God combined with the earnest efforts of an individual will bring success at all times. Do not understand me to imply that all that a man should do is to sit and expect success to come to him without effort. Man should strive to develop the talents which God has conferred upon him. In order for a man to grow, it is necessary for him to develop his innate talent or ability, and this requires constant development of the faculties with which he is endowed. Only the individual himself has this power. It must come from man himself. Subjective mind ever waits upon man's demand. I use the word demand, for man has the right, the God-given right, to demand of subjective mind. It is but a portion of the mind of God, which he set aside for the use of mankind. It must obey the decree of man's conscious mind. When, however, the individual permits doubt or fear to encompass him about, there is no directing contact with the universal subjectivity. The contact is always present, but the universal receives no definite orders. The individual's subconscious receives no definite impression as to what he wishes brought to him, and the individual has no other means of imparting orders to the universal subjectivity. Fear and doubt cause confusion in the conscious mind. That creates confusion in the subconscious mind and causes the vibrations to waver or even to break connection entirely. The result is that the man is caught in the varying vibrations of any and all individuals with whom he may establish contact, and the result is either lack or disorder of some kind. Faith in divine power causes an inflow of divine energy, and this energy serves to stabilize the mentality of the person who believes in and relies upon divine power and divine protection. The individual who believes in the efficacy of prayer and who has the understanding that all that is necessary for him to claim for himself divine protection receives additional strength to the decree commensurate with his faith. Faith serves as a stabilizer. It makes possible perfect adjustment in the universal. It causes an inflow of divine power. It establishes continuity of vibrations, and this continuity is necessary if the vibrations are to reach the universal supply. The subconscious mind can sense the process. From afar off there comes an inflow of vibrations of such great power that they completely enmesh the vibrations of the individual's subconscious mind. First, these vibrations flow into the nebulae, which hold in abstraction the invisible essence containing the necessary elements to cause to manifest the thing the individual wants. These vibrations then flow from the nebula-like formation which is in the universal, to the subconscious mind of the individual, these vibrations become so interlocked with the vibrations of the individual that no human being's vibration can divert them in the slightest degree. This contact is maintained as long as the individual continues to ask Divine Mind to protect. If the individual continues to trust in divine power, the thing which he desires comes to him in some manner. The more perfect the mental concept he has of the thing, the more perfect will be the manifestation. Confidence in divine power, in divine protection, in divine love, these things alone are enough to make a man invincible. No man can fail if, in addition to his own efforts, he relies upon divine aid. And that is the end, my friends, of The Subconscious Speaks. We leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Until next time.